Hello and welcome, mourners. You are listening to Dirge of Mourning's Coffin Carrier. I am your host, Andrew A. Graves, alongside Terabella Thorne. In this episode, we'll be looking at a Norwegian band called Fallen with their song Morphia from their self-titled compilation album released in 2015. God, that was awesome. Oh yes. Oh yes.
You silly.
Oh.
Silly.
Look. Is it my fault, right? It's not my fault.
What's not your fault?
It's not my fault that this shit is awesome. Blame the musicians for creating awesome music.
Okay.
Guys, it's your fault. But oh holy shit. Where do I begin?
I don't know, but you go ahead and do your bit, and then I'll do my bit, and we'll see if they match up.
Okay. So the raw power that comes from this song was just immensely awesome. There was these little hints at the beginning of the song that had sort of light touching of symphonic elements to it.
Yeah.
That gradually built into the overall symphonic elements of what would become of the song later on, which went perfectly well with that raw, hard guitar sound. And on top of that, the vocals. I will be remiss if I didn't say that this is kind of what I would expect from the band Funeral.
I agree with that. We have a very powerful, deep bass male voice. That's beautiful. Really beautiful.
It was fantastic, and it went well with that raw, dark, like super emotional sound. This is why I would say that if you're looking for a modern sound to what Funeral would be, this is what I would expect it to be. Now, that shouldn't take away from the band itself.
That's an interesting comparison.
Well, it probably helps that the drummer is from the band Funeral.
Well, there you go.
So some crossover, may happen.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I would say that the overall style was dark, depressing, and just all-round perfect for Funeral Doom. It was paced perfectly, it was composed perfectly, every detail was exactly where I personally would want it to be. There's no elements there that are out of place. It sounded top level, at least for me, in the way it sounded.
It had an overall complete composition to it. So the things I noticed about it were pretty much on par with what you were saying. The only thing that I'm just gonna say this, I didn't like there was like this humming guitar that went through the whole thing. I didn't like
that's that raw sound.
I didn't like that. To me, it muddles it. I'm not a fan, so I didn't like that part. If they had taken that out, I would have liked it.
Okay. So
I mean, I would have liked it more. Would have liked it more. I've been able to.
No, I get it.
Hear it better. To me, it just had no reason to be there for me.
Okay. So you're more of a cleaner style in terms of Funeral Doom then? Well, like everything a bit more polished?
I go song by song. I don't go by, overall. I'm just saying this is how I felt about this particular song. I'm not saying it's a bad song. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm saying that was the one aspect I didn't care for.
Okay.
In this song. Now, had it been in some other kind of song, maybe that would be different. I know why he did it. It did lend itself to a certain feeling, which maybe that's what they were going for. But it, for my ears, was bothersome.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I could understand that. I could understand that.
For me personally, somebody else might say, like you, oh, I like that raw sound in the background.
Right.
I did not. So,
Okay.
what I did like was the the voices, or the voice, or whoever does the singing. I like that a lot, and I also liked the meaning of the lyrics, and there's way more than one meaning in those lyrics. So,
Oh, well then, can I ask you to divulge these meanings?
well, taken from the title Morphia, which means morphium.
Morphine.
I'm sorry, morphine.
Morphium.
Morphine.
Would you like to enter the matriums?
No, thank you. I have too much going on in the terrariums here. What are those? The terrariums?
Well, you can have a terrarium. I'm gonna have an andrium.
Okay, you have an andrium, I'll have a terrarium. Anyways.
And at this point, we'll both have an aneurysm.
I know. So, okay. At first, I was just kind of looking at the lyrics and listening and going, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. So, to me, there are two paths that this could be talking about. This could be a person on their deathbed crying out for morphine because of pain. However, mental or physical would be the question here. And having talked to my friends and having gone through this experience with death recently, talking with various people, and also having to do with my mom, I know that when, at least here in America, when people are ready to pass, so to say, we'll say it like that, so to speak, that they begin administration of morphine to put the person in a comfort zone so that they don't feel basically everything that's going on as they're passing. There were just certain words in here that brought that to my mind. Oh,
no,
sweet,
I would agree with that.
Oh, sweet release, come hither. Drowning in desire for things that cannot be. Okay.
Which is actually probably my favorite line in that.
Oh, it's beautiful. And
like that entire paragraph is just, that's so powerful.
This could be literal, or it just could be figuratively speaking, metaphorical.
I would say it's definitely a metaphor in terms of the context.
Well, that's why I'm saying there's 2, maybe 3 paths this could go along. Are we talking about
I totally agree.
Physical or mental pain? Are we talking about the actual somebody having this happen to them for real, or are we talking about somebody's head saying these things in a poetical manner?
Right. Well, the reason that I think it's a more of a metaphorical element, at least as it stands as I'm reading it again, is the second line from the very beginning. This endless craving for unattainable matters like love. So, the emotional element at the very top.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So, that's why I'm thinking it's an emotional state, and it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
But like you've said, there's other elements here that do kind of suggest this metaphor is leading into maybe other possibilities, but they don't necessarily have to come right out and say it.
Right. It could go either way. And there's so much having to do with this, you know, at the end, this is what happens. For most people? I mean, most people don't just lay down in their bed and have a good nap and go to bed and sleep forever.
Exactly.
It's like, you know, that's not really how death really happens.
No, you're absolutely right.
Unfortunately, there are a few lucky people that's what happens. I hope I can be a lucky person, but percentage-wise and chance-wise, that's not what usually happens.
Oh, I could tell you horror stories about, you know, when I worked in a cemetery about how these people would die, and it's kind of horrific.
Well, yeah, having worked in hospitals, having seen a lot throughout my life, I'm quite a bit older than you, and I've been through a lot of things. It's, you know, not the usual way. So the usual way is, unfortunately, not fun, not nice, and usually comes with a bunch of pain. So
absolutely. That's why, this takes on a very somber tone.
I mean, I like the way it's so poetical. I like the way it's delivered, because it's sort of, at first, like I said, it was washing over me, and then I'm like, oh, holy, what are they talking about here? Oh, my. And then it hit me. And the
I think we can agree on that the delivery here of these words was beyond comparability here to most of the stuff that we've heard, because again, this harkens back to this idea of, like we were just saying, life isn't pretty, and neither is the ending point for the majority of us. So when you deliver these types of words, you have to have a sense of an emotional attachment, but also at the same time a detachment.
Yeah.
As you have like this life bearing and then the death bearing. And to get that in that vocal sound of those deep, sorrow-filled, almost like operatic sounding vocals.
Yeah, definitely. There was definitely a choral sound to everything, and I liked that in this song. Now, I would like to say a couple things that really hit me. Once again, I'm thrown back in history, because we have here, I think that was a really good comparison to Funeral, because once again we have, along with the choral use of deep voices, we also have a word like hither. People don't say hither anymore. Oh, sweet release, come hither. This is an old word. We don't use it. So it's hearkening back to something earlier, and I love it. When I heard this, all of a sudden, what I pictured was, you know, Romeo and Juliet, and like the death scene. Okay, so then another thing that really, really spoke to me was, so then feed me morphia or morphine.
Right.
I let go of anything but, in other words, everything but the yearning that stings so relentless. In other words, I still want to live. I still have the desire, but nothing else is going right.
Exactly.
So drown everything else and just let only it's kind of like this. Get rid of all the bad shit. Let me only have the good shit.
Exactly. I was just thinking that myself. Like, take away all of this either physical or mental pain.
Yes.
And just almost like, do I dare say it? Almost like self-medicating, I should say.
Or like, I don't want to say like feeling high, but I want to say
it's a stable mindset.
Leave me with only my good bits.
Right. Because the next part to that is anything but the yearning that strings so relentlessly.
Well, yeah, that's what I just said.
So again, we've got those ideas, right? No, I'm just reiterating the point is what I'm trying to do.
Yes.
You've got these ideas of just wanting to just throw all the negativity that you feel with this into the proverbial grave and just be left with the sense of I'm at peace with what's going on now because I've been able to have this numbness come over me.
Yes, which I think it is looked upon in this manner as being something positive.
I have to agree with that. Yes, there is a slight positivity here.
Yeah. Oh, sweet release. Come hither. You know,
right?
A life for peace. Tears for still waters. You know,
So again, it's that calmness over one's being, a sense of serenity, the idea of can someone or something take away. Maybe even another route of this could be the passing of someone that they cared about, and this is their feelings of can I have the numbness of that? Can they numb the grief?
Which then it would just be a metaphor, but that also, so there's another path that it could mean. There's so many ways you can read things into this.
This is why I guess we have to do it.
This is why you love Funeral Doom. You say it every time. This is why I love Funeral Doom. Okay, this is why I love Funeral Doom, because I like talking about this kind of stuff.
So I guess we should just go straight into it then. Scoring.
You do the score because I will always mess it up. You just say it. You just say what you want.
I'll edit it all to my will.
That would not surprise me.
I do not. Though I might this time. No, I'm kidding. But I'm generally going to give it an absolute solid 9.
I think that's a very good score because it's a nice little compact song, not long. Gets the point across, but they could grow to something, you know?
Well, see, the fact that we're slowly getting onto these ideas of it going in any direction, we could have spoke about this for hours. But no, a solid 9, I think, is an absolute top tier song. If you guys are wondering, how have I not stumbled across this band? Don't worry, because links to everything that I can get my hands on will of course be in the description below. I guess that's going to do it from us here at Coffin Carrier. Until next time, mourners, remember, every day is a funeral.